We're going to look at solving for slope and looking at intercepts from several different types of graphs. And then we're going to go into solving standard form and getting it into slope-intercept form so then we could graph it. So this first graph we need to identify what we have, what type of slope we have, and on this first one we have a negative slope. So that tells me that on my slope I need to go ahead and put a negative sign. One of the easiest things you can do is identify where it crosses at the y-axis. Then you need to identify another point, and this one just happens to be where it goes at the x-axis. So then we're going to do rise over run, and in this case, since it is a negative, we're going to go down 2 and over 1. So now we have created a triangle. So we went down 2 over 1. So then I'm going to do rise over run, down 2 over 1, and my slope is a negative. So my slope is negative 2 over 1, and if I were to continue that, go down 1 and I still hit another point. I went down 2 over 1, I still hit another point. So now that I have identified my slope, I need to identify the zero of the function, or in other words, my x-intercept. In this case, it crosses here on my x-axis at 1, 0. So my x-intercept is at 1, 0. We already identified my y-intercept. We circled it at the beginning, so that way we were able to find my slope. And at this case, we were at 0, 2 as my y-intercept. Okay, now we're going to look at some special case graphs, which means that it is going to have a either a horizontal or a vertical line. In this case, this first one, special case, I have a vertical line, which then tells me that I am crossing the x-axis. So then my equation in return has to be x equals some number, wherever it crosses that x-axis. So in this case, I cross here on the x-axis, which is at a negative 7. So my x-intercept is going to be negative 7, 0. Okay, remember when we talked about our slope ski-man? Earlier we were talking about slopes. Here he has got a vertical line, which tells me that he is going to fall off the cliff, so therefore my slope is going to be undefined, because we have nothing else to say when we are falling off the cliff. So if it is undefined, that means it never crosses my y-axis. So therefore it never crosses my y-axis. I do not have a y-intercept, so my y-intercept would be none. Okay, my second type of special case is a horizontal line. This one is a horizontal line, so therefore it tells me that I am crossing on the y-axis. So that means I have to have y equals some number. In this case, it is crossing here at the 4, so my y-intercept would be 0, 4. Once again, once that it does not cross my x-axis, so my x-intercept in this case is none, not 0, because if we put 0, that means it would be crossing at our 0, 0, and it does not. Now my slope, when we were talking about our ski-man, or our ski slope puzzle, we were saying that it was 0 fun to ski on flat land because we're going to have to keep pulling across, and it's not any fun. So my slope is either 0 or no slope. Alright, now let's take a look at standard form versus slope-intercept form. We are going to look at solving from standard form and getting it into slope-intercept form so that way we can graph it. Your standard form is ax plus by equals C, where your A, B, and C are just numbers. Our slope-intercept form, which we've been talking about and gone over and over and over, is y equals mx plus b, where my m is my slope and my b is my y-intercept. I'm going to show you two different ways. We're going to show solving, and then we're going to look at just showing a shortcut so you don't get confused and you can use either one. Alright, in my first example, we're just going to solve for y, so that means I need to get this 4x on the other side. So to do that, you have to take the opposite. The opposite of positive 4x is a negative. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That's going to equal 1. Bring down your 5y. And I'm going to go ahead and move my x in the front so that I know my slope is in the front. So I have 4x plus 10. Now I need to get my 5 on the other side. Now I don't need to move the y, I just need to detach these so they are being divided. So they're being multiplied. So take the opposite, which is division. So we need to divide everything by 5, not just 1, but everything. That's going to equal 1, so I'm going to be left with y equals 4/5 does not reduce, so negative 4/5 x, and 10 divided by 5 is going to give me 2, and it's positive, so plus 2. So in this case, my slope is 4/5, so m equals 4/5. That is going to tell me how to move on the graph, and my y-intercept is my positive 2. That is going to tell me where to begin on my graph. Okay, my second example is x plus y equals -4. First, I'm going to fill in my holes. I do not have a number, so it's an imaginary one, so I'm filling in my holes with 1. Then I'm going to label them A, B, and C, because this is in standard form, A, B, and C. Okay, some of you may choose to use this method, some may choose to solve. So in this case, to find my slope, the shortcut is you take the opposite of A divided by B. Then to find your lowercase b or your y-intercept, you're going to take C divided by B. So now I'm just going to fill into my formula. So now I'm just going to plug into my formula. So my opposite of positive 1 is a -1. So my slope is going to be -1. And then I'm going to put my b here. So it's going to be 1. So my slope is going to be -1/1. Then for my y-intercept, I'm going to take my c and plug in, and then take my b and plug in. So I'm going to have a -4 divided by 1, which is just -4. So now that I have that, I have my slope and my y-intercept, I just need to plug into my slope-intercept form. So I'm going to have y equals, and my m is going to go first, so -1x. Then my b is negative, so just -4.